Called external motivation, outside motivation. So motivation from outside, like this kid. For example, when I was a kid, my mother told me, okay, Masashi is my name, Masashi, could you please go to supermarket and buy these vegetables and meal foods for me? We need something to cook for my dinner. But I didn't want to go. No, I want to play with my friend. I want to play on Nintendo or something like that. So, no, I don't. I want to stay here. And then my mother said, go, Masashi. Otherwise, you will be scolded by father. No, I love Nintendo more. And my mother finally said, okay, Masashi, please go. And he will receive 50 cents. I go. I want to go. No, brother, I will go. So this is external motivation. I don't like this job, but I like something other. And for this, some carrot, I do it. I also I practiced kendo, the way of sword, when I was a junior high school student. Junior high school student and also in elementary school. So it's for 9 years. I practiced kendo, the way of sword. And it's, it looks actually cool, but it's, the sword is very painful and the armors are very, actually, it's smelly. So it's awful to practice kendo. So, fourth grade of the elementary school, I wanted to quit the practice. Madam, I don't want to practice. I surrender. I love Nintendo more again. And my mother said, okay, but it's good for your health. So go to practice and you will receive $1. I go. Then I went. But I went to practice, but I was really weak. I didn't become strong because, yes. And I was satisfied when I received $1. Not colleagues, but my friends didn't receive money, so they wanted to become strong. They wanted to become powerful. That was his motivation. But when I received $1, my motivation was changed. Okay, I come here for this $1. Okay, I finished. My goal was achieved. Okay, I need to practice. Okay, finished. So that was my attitude. It is a limit or weakness of this kind of motivation, external motivation. Sometimes it works, but it changes a person a bit. So we have to be careful to use this type of motivation. And the other one is called, academically called internal motivation, inside motivation. For example, the Sir Edmund Hillary is the one, the climber who conquered the summit of Everest for the first time in history. And he challenged to conquer the Everest many times, and many times he failed. At first, in the end, of course, he succeeded. But in the process of his challenge, he was asked many questions from the news reporter. And one asked, why are you, challenged to the Everest? It's impossible. Give up. And Edmund Hillary said, no, because it's there. So there is no reason. He loved climbing. He loved this mountain. Because it's there. So I'm enjoying this challenge. So he didn't refer to mention the money or reputation or something. He just simply loved his work. So it's another type of motivation. It's natural, something from inside. Maybe you have, okay, I keep composing because I love music. This is my internal motivation. And also I love this kind of workshop, facilitating, so that we can learn each from each other and we can find a new aspect of our life. It's really exciting for me. I love this book. I have an internal motivation. So this is the difference between among the two motivations, outside and inside, external, internal. Now, how do you think, which type of motivation do your employees have, or your colleagues, or you? Which type of motivation is your major or main motivation? Do you work for something, for example, money? or do you work because you love to work?
I think that the internal motivation is short-term.
Short-term, yeah, exactly.
And on the long term, you need to have internal motivation in order to succeed.
Yes, it's really a rational explanation. And the problem is that if, I'll say, for example, in your company or your colleague or your something, do they have the internal motivation?
I think those who are long enough in company, that's the sign that they have internal motivation because they trust in the products and services and the company they are working for. So they are ready to give and to go extra mile in order to succeed and to change things.
So you're lucky you have, and you're
I'm actually the new one.
Okay.
Mobile, but I feel that kind of culture.
Is there anyone who don't feel the internal motivation? Maybe, yeah. Anyone here?
Oh, I think that the motivation depends of, if you reach some level of money, of monthly amount and so on, and if you can pay to your employees just enough for their needs, it's okay. If one employee didn't have enough money, didn't have a month's salary that he can reach their needs, will mostly try to find a better job and bigger salary, and external motivation. If you have balance, if you are something near to that employee's needs, internal motivations is very important.
Yes. So you are talking about some kind of steps. There should be the step like some, theory, yes, and Maslow, survival and belonging and social. They are to be acknowledged and the self-realization. Yes, there should be the step. But I think the border of these steps are really, ambiguous and fragile. For example, that workers in Panasonic, they are not rich. Maybe I think they don't get that enough amount or big amount of salary, but somehow they survived and they're motivated by a constant story. So yes,
okay, but do they have opportunity to change their job? Did they finish schools? Is there any other factories in the neighborhood and so on? Or they are forced to do in Panasonic in that time? And it's very good to have a story about children and books and so on. Those stories, I not disagree with you, but it needs to be realistic. Especially if you are owner of the business.
Yes.
The story about internal motivation is, I call that maybe very strong HR bullshit mantra. It's story that HRs and companies use to rise their places, companies, and so on.
Yes. As Panasonic story, it's just an example, just an introduction. So yes.
But actually, what about big companies and big salaries in those big companies, such as Coca-Cola, where I work? But even though I quit, because I wasn't motivated, I didn't want to develop in that area of business, because I was working in supply chain planning, and my lab was marketing. So even though in Serbia all of us are aware of the situation and the unemployment problem, but even though I quit and changed my career path, because even though I had a big salary and secure big international company I was working for, I wanted to change that after 3 years because I wasn't motivated to develop in that area.
So you are real, you have realized your value and your other things.
You're not sure this level of external motivation.
Maybe, I would like to add something. We'll come to that a little bit later, but what we are not realizing at this moment, because the story is not yet complete, is that when we talk about, imagine motivation as some kind of force. And you know that force is usually in a math, and if you remember high school, it's like a vector. I don't know how to translate it. It's a vector, and it has a direction. Now, when we talk about motivation, motivation moves us towards being positive, being moved towards good things, to perform at work. Now, there is also a force that's called demotivation, and it's completely opposite to motivation. It has nothing to do with motivation. Now, when we talk about salary, low salary, insufficient salary creates that opposite force. So, you actually, not only that you don't have motivation in these workers, but you have that opposing force that actually moves them against. So, just to make sure we have demotivation and motivation, which are completely two different forces, and are created. We'll have us later just to.
Yes, for now the goal is to just understand the difference of two types, and we will be back to the discussion about how to motivate the people. So later, so let me introduce another story.